chairs and new members on the line this evening. Thank you so much for your interest. As mentioned, this is a Zoom call. We'll be muting everyone that's not speaking. So for those that are speaking, when it's your turn to speak, or if you have a question, just unmute yourself, mute again, just as we go. Hope is recording this session. It will be available on our League Women Voters YouTube page following this session. So if you want to refresh your memory, want to invite your friends to check it out, and for other new members that are joining in future, they'll have an opportunity to view this. I would like to start quickly. So we've got a number of our more experienced members that are on the line to speak this evening, but for newer members, just a real quick hi, hello. Would love to hear from you as we get started to help our speakers kind of tailor some of what they may cover about their committees. So just any level of interest around, what enticed you to join tonight's call, enticed you to join the league, just to make sure we can cover those things for you. So any new members that would like to volunteer to start with that, I would appreciate it. If you're not comfortable sharing, that's fine as well, but leaving the floor open. Kate?
Yes, I'm sorry. I just got in here.
You're fine. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Just asking if you care to share what interests you about tonight's session, anything specifically that you're looking for.
Well, I have volunteered in the past couple years, well, not last year, but with the immigration ceremonies. Mm-hmm. And but I was never officially a member of the league, and so I decided to join as a member. So I
Awesome.
want to officially sign up as a volunteer. So
very cool. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other new members? Linda, Gina, Julie, Dee Dee, care to share? Dee Dee, I think you're speaking, but you're on mute. If you want to unmute yourself.
Hello. Are you asking me to speak? I'm sorry, I missed that. You want me to just introduce if I just joined? Okay.
No, Jean, for new members, we're asking them to quickly mention if there's any particular interests that they would like to make sure we cover tonight, or things of interest for them.
I'm interested in finding out about some of the, I don't know if you call them committees or groups,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so that I know what they cover. I did listen to one of the presentation about recycling, and the research done was, I thought was very informative. I would like to know about both education and any other committee.
Natural resources is the other committee. Awesome. We'll definitely cover those tonight. Thank you. Thank you.
It's Day Day.
Oh, Day Day. I'm so sorry to mispronounce.
That's all right.
Got it. Thank you, Day Day. No problem. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Julie Stark, and I just joined this December, January as well. So I really just wanted to learn about all of the committees, but I'm particularly interested in voter registration, which I have participated on one of those calls.
Excellent. Thank you. Linda, do you care to share? Do you mind to unmute yourself? Sorry.
I don't have any specific interests. It was just general interest. And my husband's going to be joining us here in just a second as soon as I can get set up.
Wonderful. Welcome to both of you. Patricia, do you care to share? Sorry.
Hi, this is Gina Baraja. I can share.
Sure.
Hey, I joined the league after doing some work on voter protection, sort of virtual, helping out over election day last year. And I was so impressed with the folks that were on the calls and doing the work from the league. And of course, I've been familiar with the League of Women Voters for some time and always appreciated the Voters Guide. And I've always thought about getting involved. So I figured it was a good time to to both support the league and see if there's a way I could maybe contribute and learn more, especially right now with voting rights under attack. I'm interested to see what the league's doing to help with that kind of protection work, advocating for voting rights, as well as the environmental work interests me.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gina. And I heard from Veronica that Mary had her hand up. Is there a Mary on the phone?
Margie Maddox.
Margie?
Yes, thank you. I've been trying to find the niche that I'm looking for, but I have to commend and recommend the League of Women Voters Board of Directors organization chart. That really helps a lot. I didn't know that there was one out there, but it was in part of the information that was given to us. I would also like to see one of these done on the newsletters, all the news items that come out. So I know where to find things and just how to keep up on what's going on. But I have enjoyed all of my participation so far, and it's a great group of women. I mean, they really work hard.
Thanks, Margie. And Patricia.
Okay. Well, I actually joined last year. But I was kind of behind the scenes. I'm very interested in voter rights. I did some of the texting to vote. I was on some calls with Tim and through Outvote, I guess it was. I did a lot of that. You know, we were a little bit limited in, you know, what things could do. When I first thought about it, I thought, you know, I'd like to go out and register voters and things, but that wasn't so easy to do. But I am interested in communications and voter rights, and it sounds like this year is going to be another challenge.
Understatement. Yeah. Thank you, Patricia. Any other new members that we've missed? Just wanted to give you a chance to say hello. Okay, wonderful. So for those speaking this evening, hopefully you've seen the email. So I'd like to just flow through in order as we have listed. Want to start tonight with our co-presidents, Elizabeth Brown and Pinky Kokocious.
Okay, I'll go ahead first, Pinky, if that's okay. Okay, I just wanted to welcome everyone here and really thank you for taking the time to learn more about the League of Women Voters. There are going to be a lot of opportunities that they'll talk about tonight where you can get involved with the committee. But the League is very much a volunteer organization. We have one part-time office manager, staff person, but all the other work of the League is done by its members. And you know, a lot of folks are able to engage with a committee and spend a lot of time, but regardless of whether you choose to become involved with a committee or not, there's some basic work that all League members, we really hope, get involved with. The League is a local organization, but it's also a state and federal organizations. And you become a member of each one of those levels when you join the League automatically. And you will be getting information, emails, and something they call action alerts from each one of those levels. And we do hope that you individually are able to respond to many of those action alerts. It's a real grassroots organization, and it really makes a difference when people speak up, particularly when they speak to their own legislators. So that's a simple thing for every member. The other thing is the importance of staying informed yourself and voting every election. For example, we have a primary election coming up, and well, there's some real interesting things on the ballot for people living in Cincinnati. Other folks in Hamilton County don't have anything to vote on, and some simply have a tax levy or one primary council race. But I hope that each one of you will take the time to find out what is on that ballot, whether there is anything or not for you, and share that information with your friends and family and networks of folks. We can, as members, all encourage voting and provide the voter information that people need. It's a way of sort of fighting the apathy and cynicism that creates very low turnouts in elections. And I'll tell you that apathy and cynicism is probably worse even than the voter suppression things that we're hearing about now, because it stops people from voting. So you and your own relationships hopefully can be that positive voice to encourage voting and let folks know. I mean, if you're a member of your own neighborhood, you know, next door listserv, tell people about the election. Talk about the fact that you voted today, and encourage others to do the same. Just know that there is a lot that you can do as a league member individually, as well as getting involved in some of the more active committee work that you're going to hear about tonight. And as you do this, it's fine to share that you're a league member, but we are very careful about our reputation as the League of Women Voters, our brand, if you like, as being a credible, nonpartisan source of information. So it's important that, you know, that means we never support a candidate. We may on occasion choose to vote, you know, as our board of directors to support a particular issue on a ballot. But we never support a candidate or a party. And we, you know, we stay back from even having the appearance that we're working with one party rather than the other. So just be real sensitive about that as you know, go about your work as a league member and what you're doing. So anyway, that's sort of my take on it. Being a president of a league is a hard job, and so there's two of us. Pinky and I are in our fourth year, our last year as co-presidents. So Pinky, go ahead.
Yes, well, Elizabeth covered a lot of things. I would like to just speak to the issue of how we are represented. If you see a letter, which we have had some nice things in the Inquirer, we have a process. And as Elizabeth said, we want to protect our nonpartisan status. So we have a process within the league where a letter that has the signature of both of us on there goes through several levels of approval. So I think we're very careful about that. We love the publicity and encourage you to put your own letter in. I don't know if you saw a nice letter about HB6 by Jerry Krause. People are on my Natural Resources Committee. She wrote that letter. She's on the committee, but she wrote it on her own behalf, and she got a nice article in about the disastrous HB6. So we can encourage that kind of stuff. And as Elizabeth said, we really are wanting to have an informed electorate. And that's why we have all the open meetings that we have. And we do sponsor we're having a mayoral forum coming up, with which we're sponsoring with about at least 10 other organizations. And it's our goal to have an informed electorate. So watch for these different forums that we have. And of course, we have our voters guide and articles in our newsletter, which are all aimed at an educated electorate. Thanks.
So wanted to next just jump into specific committee and team discussions. And I'd love to start with our Vice President of Voter Services, Desiree Futel.
Good evening, everyone. I am Desiree Futel, VP of Voter Service for the League. So what Voter Service is it is a committee within the League, and we help citizens to be politically effective and encourage them to participate in the political process throughout the year. We do several activities. One of our main activities is voter registration and voter registration trainings, which is who I partner with, Tim Vieser. He heads up the voter registration arm. He's going to share specifically what he does. Another thing we do is we plan and put on candidate forums, and we also provide moderators for events throughout the community. So if someone's hosting an event, they might ask us to moderate, which is what Elizabeth will be doing for us on Wednesday for the mayor's debate. We also are in charge of the Speakers Bureau, which is similar to being a moderator, where you would go out into the community to either speak about topics such as the election, ballot issues, or whatever that group specifically might want to talk about. And that's actually one of the ways that I first started out getting involved in voter service, just because it's a great opportunity to represent the league, but also educate yourself about a topic. Another thing we do is vote411.org, which is an online tool that's available for voters to find out information about their voter registration. Are they registered to vote? They can also register to vote through vote411.org. And then also it grants them access to the candidate information and ballot issues information through that site, and they can customize their own ballot using that. Similar to Vote 411 is the voter guide, which is what I feel like one of the things we're best known for is the yearly publication during a general election that outlines the candidates that are on the ballot, as well as the issues that are on the ballot for Hamilton County. And then we also have another publication that comes out, which is called The True, which stands for They Represent Us, is a catalog of all the elected officials, as well as their contact information, how long their term is, just the facts that you would need to know about their position. We operate year round, but I will say we're generally the most busy during, I would say from about July through November, through the election, just because that's when the general election is. And we always need people for various things. So like if you're interested in anything that I've said, if you're comfortable speaking in front of people, it's a great place for you to start. If you're more behind the scenes person, you're great with editing, we need you. We do meet on the second Monday of each month at 6 p.m. on Zoom. Our meetings are generally about an hour to an hour and a half. We do a lot of our communications throughout the month via email. And I think, it's a great place to start in a league because it's kind of the frontward facing committee, so to speak, that we're kind of best known for. And it's a great way to find out about other things that are happening within the league. So that is voter service. I think Tim is next.
Great. So my name's Tim Vieser, and I'm on the board, and I work with Desiree. My portfolio, if you will, is voter registration. And so as Patricia was noting, that last year, my first year, we had to go kind of the non-traditional route. I think I had one time that I could actually sit at a table and greet folks and do the face-to-face, but we had the texting and the outvote. So we've been innovative. We really moved with it, but there's also something that's we have a lot of work in, which is the naturalization ceremonies. And that's just starting up again, where we will be there to greet our new citizens and say, how would you like to register to vote? One of the benefits of being a citizen. And I'm going to put in the chat box some specific information on that. And I note that Kate, you said that you had volunteered with on the immigration, the naturalization. So we need folks definitely to do that. There's quite a few events coming up with that. So as soon as I can get that to drop into the chat box, but can't do two things at once. I also represent the league, and we have a very good reputation to something called the Greater Cincinnati Voter Collaborative. I bring that up because it also offers some opportunities for our volunteers to have a home in the league. But if there's a project that we're not leading up, or it's not one of our major activities, but you might be interested, you can do that too. So we have a number of folks that are interested in the making sure the folks who are in the jails, not the prisons, the jails. So folks who are there for like 75 days, making sure that they're going to be eligible to vote. So that's something that's out there as well. So we work with a number of other organizations. I'll just mention one other thing that's a little out of my bailiwick, but I'm in a subcommittee, which is, this is more of the policy development folks, but we have a subcommittee that's looking at police reform, and that integrates into voter services through the types of questions we'll ask candidates. But there may be some other initiatives that we will potentially take up to the state organization to develop a position on. So that's rather exciting, and that came from a policy development, but I just wanted to sneak that one in there.
Thank you, Tim. Jean for Natural Resources.
Yes, hi, Jean Nightingale. Good evening. I'm on the Natural Resources Committee on the board of the membership committee. And Dee Dee, I was pleased to hear that you liked our pages, our study pages on rethinking recycling, because they were pretty popular. That it really is quite comprehensive look at recycling and trying to stress to people to use reuse and refuse before recycling, because it's very confusing. But there is a new hub which has been in process for some time, but it's a central place now down on Evans Street. It's close to Price Hill, where they're going to have all kinds of reused items brought in and recycling items. So there's one place where you can take that's going to really work out well. On April 10th, they'll start off with electronics, so that will be a good thing. But these study pages, we've been invited to present them before the Hamilton County Environmental Advisory Commission. So we're going to have this really starts a good conversation throughout the city. Then we, as Pinky mentioned, we are supporting a clean repeal of SB 6. That's that energy bill that's so corrupt. You heard about it in the news, but we want to support more renewable energy subsidies for renewables and better efficiency standards. So we've kind of written a couple of letters, as Peggy said, to the governor and to the senators or representatives are involved in that. So what else are we doing? We meet once a month, the fourth Monday of every month in the morning at 11 o'clock. And so I encourage you, Dee Dee, if you're interested in joining us, we'd love to have you, or anyone else who would like to do that. One more thing, we're considering this democracy school because we're finding more and more barriers to sort of community self-determination. The corporations seem to sort of take away that power, and so we're trying to find a new way of organizing ourselves so we can fight that better. So let me see, is there anything else that we've done other study pages before on water as well as the plastic, and we did a big program on coal. So we're really interested in energy and pollution and that kind of thing. So please do join us if those are things that concern you.
Next, the Education Committee, Bert and/or Marcia.
All right, you can hear me now? Okay. I am not the chair of the Education Committee, but I've been on that committee for a long time. I was chair once before, but we have a new chair who's very vigorous and young and go, go, go. But what does the Education Committee do? We deal with public education at all levels. We have education positions at the national level, we have them at the state level, and we have local positions dealing with our local schools. What we've been working on most recently now, most vigorously, is a state issue. It has been proposed and put together by the state league. They're working very hard on it. It's called HB1. It is a whole new system of funding public education in the state of Ohio. the way they've been doing it has been declared unconstitutional 4 times since 1997, and they haven't dealt with it. The legislature is finally getting it in hand, and they have come up with a plan, which the league vehemently supports. We are really pleased with it. And we are encouraging our members and the public and anybody else to let their legislator know that we need to get that passed. So that is our big activity right now. And I personally am working on a letter to the editor, which will be signed by our co-presidents once we get something reasonable put together. In the past year, we've been looking at Cincinnati Public Schools. They have been developing an anti-racism policy. And we've had a board member attend our meetings and talk to us about that policy and where they plan to go with it, some of the problems they have had, but it also is one of our issues. We also worked to put together the consensus program on arming school personnel. And that was last fall. It was tough. It was put together, initiated by the Hudson League. This is going to end up as a position of some sort coming out of the state convention. And finally, or I shouldn't say finally, but one of the other things we keep our finger on the pulse of is the Cincinnati Preschool Promise, because our positions cover education from preschool to through university, for that matter. We meet once a month. We have a vigorous committee. We meet on the third Tuesdays at 2 o'clock. And we would welcome anybody who wants to be involved in educational issues. It's a vigorous committee. We have a dynamic leader, Marcia Futel. She's something else. And I think she practically lives in the CPS board offices, but she knows what's going on over there and keeps us apprised. It's a great committee. It really is. Anything else? Any questions?
Bert, and when do you meet?
Third Tuesdays, 2 o'clock. It used to be in the league office. Now it's been Zoom. If we're ever allowed out, we may end up back in the league office.
Okay, and it looks like Day Day has a question.
I do have a question. Last week, I think you were scheduled for a meeting. The meeting was not clear where it was. So I actually went down to down on Taft. But then the person there told me the calendar had the address.
I think if you were looking at the league calendar, it probably said in the league office, which is on Taft Road,
right,
in the church building.
Right.
Since COVID has struck, we've been meeting via Zoom in our homes.
We need to get the Zoom link on the calendar, I think is what you're saying, Day Day. I think that is one committee that doesn't have a listed calendar link. So if we can take care of that, so people can register.
Yeah. So yes, we would, I think Hope would need to know, Day Day, that you are interested and want to sign up to be involved in it so that she can send you the code that you click on to get involved with it.
Actually, Marcia maintains that link.
Oh, Marcia does? Okay, then Marcia would need to. So
okay, because I wanted out, and I showed up there and there was no one there. So
yeah, well, nobody's there because I think the office has been virtually closed for a year. Right. But we will track you down, Day Day.
Thank you.
Emily, if I may.
Sure.
As we've said, we meet on the third Tuesday of the month at 2. That's what we've been traditionally doing. And because of the pandemic, we've gone to Zoom, and we've been that way. And it's been working. However, if we start to get numbers where that time is not, can you hear me okay? Okay. If that time is not good for some of our new members, we can be flexible, I think. We can ask our other members if we can flex to a later time. But that's what time we have been meeting because it was working for the current members. But we are open for new members, especially if you are interested in education issues. That's the place I started because that's where my passion is. And as Bert said, we work on a lot of very interesting things. So if you have a passion for anything related to educating our kids, any kind of accountability issues around our tax dollars for educating our kids, our committee is the place to be.
Okay.
That was Marcia.
Should I go ahead?
Wonderful. Thank you. Yes, please, Janet. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Janet Smith, and I'm chairperson of the Hamilton County Government Committee. Now, we don't meet on a regular basis, but we're an advocacy and education type committee. And if we have an action, we meet on a regular time to prepare for a forum or a unit. And I joined the league just simply because I wanted to learn. And I was a little lost when I first came. And one of the members, Don Rhodes, took me under his wing. And in the second year, I became chairperson of the County Government League. And I didn't know, I was a little bit lost, even though I was chairperson. So I should have asked. And I want all of you to ask or look in the membership directory and call us up or email us. I was getting invitations to a meeting called PDC, and I didn't know why. And I should have said, oh, why am I being invited to this? So I didn't go to a few meetings when I should have. So please ask any of us for information about if you have a question. And some of the fixtures of the Hamilton County Government Committee is the voter guide. And if I say I'm in the league, the first thing out of everybody's mouth, oh, I love your voter guide. Well, the Hamilton County, there's levies every single year. And we have to write them for the voter guide. And I found out recently it might be scary for some people to write those. It isn't. You can ask me. We have a formula. It's pretty simple. And the best part is there'll be people helping you all along the way. You're not doing this alone. And we have great editors. We have a lot of volunteers that edit. So you write your draft, somebody will edit it. It's the formula, which is easier than you think. And this fall, the Hamilton County Committee is sort of in sections. And in the July, August, we'll find out. Well, I know that children's levy is on, but we don't know if the Hamilton County Park will add a levy. Sometimes special districts add levies. So I don't know how many people I'll need, but I would love to have somebody contact me and say, yeah, I'll try to write for the voter guide. That is our premier publication that we are known for. And then along with the voter guide, it sort of goes with the TLRC, Tax Levy Review Committee. And that's the committee that okays the levies. And we're an observer corps. We sort of keep them honest. We're the public there. And so it's all Zoom now. It's not hard. And that's only in the spring. Their midterm this year, there are going to be 3 midterms because there's 3 levies next year that I definitely know of. And consultants come and talk about the financial, talk about the organization of all these agencies that we vote for levies. And it's very simple. And it's surprising how much you learn from a consultant and the going back and forth with questions. So if somebody would like to go, they're in June this year, they're 3. If somebody would like to volunteer to observe, to be part of the Observer Corps, that would be great. There also are the Hamilton County Commissioners meeting. There are 2 a week, and we are Observer Corps there, but you can't do everything. And those are on YouTube. So you don't have to, you can work and then you can come home and watch it on YouTube whenever you want to. And you can look at the agenda. They send out the agenda. And if there's something more important than Ridewood Road getting a sewer, then you can hone in on that part or that meeting at the HCC and be part of the Observer Corps. I would appreciate that a lot too. And then we have No Hamilton County. I'd love you to go online to our site and look at it. Is a detailed information, education, online publication that needs to be updated. It has links to all the departments in Hamilton County and some outside. And it explains a lot about how government works in Hamilton County. So there's another fixture that the government committee is doing. And last but not least is we are part of the First Suburbs Consortium of Southwest Ohio. They only meet quarterly. It's now Zoom again. And if you're interested, call me. They have really good speakers. If you go to First Suburbs, and it's all the suburbs in Hamilton County except the city. And it's, you know, all their mayors, all their council people. And, you know, I've seen legislatures from the General Assembly in Ohio, and they always have, you know, the port has made talks. I enjoy their talks. They're 4 a year. And if you'd like to do that, that to me is part of why I joined. I wanted to learn. And I would love to have some assistance in the Observer Corps and writing for the levies in the fall, spring and fall. Thank you.
Thanks, Janet. Carolyn Miller to speak to city government. Carolyn, you're muted.
Thank you. One of the main functions of our city government committee is to monitor and evaluate any proposed changes in city governance. And these happen surprisingly frequently in the city of Cincinnati. Our league has a very strong support position for our council manager form of government here in the city of Cincinnati. And there are always ongoing challenges to keep it, and people are always wanting to change it. So we do like to monitor that. And particularly this past year, we were interested in suggested remedies following the indictment of 3 city council members that you all might remember on bribery and corruption charges related to development projects and related campaign contributions. So what became very evident with those charges is that there was only one way to suspend or remove a council member for such charges, and that was to use a very cumbersome state process. So several of our council members are proposing charter amendments, which are on this May ballot. So if you're a City of Cincinnati voter, you will be voting on these to suggest a local process for suspension or removal of a council member. And one of the other ones will also require some mandatory ethics training. So our committee was tasked to write up these 2 charter amendments for the voter guide, and that's one of the main things we end up doing. Elizabeth Brown was kind enough to write up the 3rd charter amendment, which has to do with housing, because she's our person who's involved in housing. We're also following the work of a task force, which was appointed at the city level to conduct an independent assessment of past city development deals and suggest ways to make the process more transparent and less influenced by campaign contributions. So we are looking to see what will come out of that report in August, and likely we're going to have additional charter amendments on the November ballot in the fall. Which we will certainly review. So we haven't been particularly meeting on any regular basis, but if there's an issue that comes up that we need to gather a group of folks together, we will do that. Look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Next, Chris Moran for transportation. And thank you, Chris. I know we're running a little late to your schedule, so go ahead, please. Chris, if you're there still. Is it *6 from a cell? I forget.
Chris is there. She needs to unmute.
Okay. We can jump past and hopefully she can rejoin us. Mary Kate, if you'd like to speak to development and our upcoming event.
Oh, it looks like Chris is unmuted. So go ahead, Chris, if you are there. Okay, well, I'm not sure, but feel free to cut me off, Chris, and I can pick back up later if you get going. My name is Mary Kate Jennis. I am the Vice President of Development. My story is similar to Janet's. I wasn't in the league as long, but I was in the league, and then individuals helped pull me in to have more engagement in the league, which I'm thrilled about. So I'm starting this is my third year as the Vice President of Fund Development. So what that means is that I'm in charge of fundraising. Currently, we don't have a huge, well, we have an ad hoc committee that sometimes meets. We were mostly focused on Centennial. So we had a big Centennial committee over the past few years, but since we've now passed that, we're kind of rebuilding the development committee now. So since it is the Fund Development Committee, like I said, the main responsibility of the committee and my role is fundraising. We do that in a few ways. We actually have amazing members that make this job very easy, I think, for someone in fundraising for a nonprofit. Luckily, we do annual mailers, and we get grants, so that's a big thing. I don't come from a fundraising or a nonprofit background, so I have been lucky enough to have some mentors along the way, but I know there are plenty of people out there, plenty of members that know about grant writing and know about fundraising. So I would love to have some new ideas and some new support. And really, I know fundraising isn't necessarily always the most popular committee, but it's what allows us to get all the work done that we need to do. And I think there's even more possibilities to expand our programming further with a lot of grants, because there's a lot of grants out there. I know that we could apply for, that we don't always have the bandwidth and or the know-how or the awareness of. And I think there are members even that are aware of that could be a huge help to the league in general. But the main effort really each year is with our annual fundraiser, which we call Making Democracy Work celebration. So every year we choose someone from the community. Usually it's a couple, like a pair of people in the community that have been good examples of making democracy work for the past year. So this year we are honoring the director and deputy director of our Hamilton County Board of Elections, and really the Board of Elections, our Hamilton County Board of Elections as a whole, for all their amazing work that they did for both the primary election and general election last year, especially amid all the chaos. And so that's who we are honoring this year. Usually we meet in person and have a silent auction and a brunch. But this year, obviously, we're not doing that. So this year we're mixing it up a little bit. We will also have a keynote speaker at a virtual Zoom event. So Frank LaRose will be speaking at our Making Democracy Work event, which is on actually a month from today, on Thursday, April 29th. It'll start at 4:30. Bye. And so we'll hear from Frank LaRose, and we'll hear from a little bit, we'll honor Sherry and Sally with the Board of Elections and the Board of Elections. So that we have that going on. We're all very excited about that event. And I am still looking for more help. So there's a few of us. I have one dedicated mentoring committee member, but we are always looking for more help, especially leading up to this, in the next month leading up to the event. So we are actually having a meeting this Thursday at 5 o'clock. I forget what it's at, 5:30. Thank you. So if you're interested, please join us. If not, or if you can't make it and you are interested in helping with the event or fundraising or grant writing as a whole, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Thanks.
Thanks, Mary Kate. And that meeting is on the league calendar also, so if people are able to attend, you can find it there. Lynn, next, if you'd like to speak to the membership committee.
Hi, thank you. I'm a relatively new member, and I joined last year, during the height of COVID, and I thought, how can I understand what this league does and maybe meet some people. So I joined membership as a way to connect with the great people that you've all heard from tonight. I'm also interested in some of the issues that the league focuses on, but I wanted to talk to the new members about membership, which is a standing committee. We meet at this point via Zoom on once a month on Thursdays at 2, and would love to have you. Even if you just want to hear a little bit more about some of the work that we support, we again are very welcoming and really enjoy hearing and seeing new members. We're responsible for the recruitment, the retention, and engagement of our members. We focus on the engagement through placement. We onto different committees, and whether that's standing or ad hoc. Many of you on this call have probably already talked with Veronica McCreary Hall, who you will hear from shortly. She's been great at connecting with new members through emails and phone calls to talk about what you're hoping to get out of the League of Women Voters and what we can offer to you. We provide an article in the voter newsletter, which you will receive monthly. It's our newsletter. We highlight a member. Usually it's somebody on the board, but not always. And it's a way to provide information and connection on the personal level. So hopefully you'll look for that. And we're always looking for people to help write. Again, and just like others have said, you're not on your own. There's editing support, but everybody pitching in is very, very helpful. We draft and distribute the annual membership renewal letter, which you'll be receiving at some point. We support other committees throughout the year. We have social events. Even if they're via Zoom. We've had a couple last year, and it's a great way to just see people, try to make connections in this strange age that we find ourselves in. And hopefully we'll be connecting in person soon. and as part of the membership committee, we'll be talking more about how to do that safely. And we also provide one-to-one connections. We're happy to hear from you at any point. You've heard so much information today about various chairs and committees and issues, and sometimes it's hard to remember who was that person. So of course, you can always call Hope in the office, but Veronica and I, we can also point you in the right direction. So please feel free to reach out to us for that type of information. And so I would like to turn it over to Veronica now. She's going to talk a little bit more about making those connections, particularly using the website.
Real quick though, Lynn, when do we meet?
Mondays, I'm sorry, the first Thursday of the month at 2 o'clock. That's an hourly meeting, and it's on the calendar.
Awesome, thank you. Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Veronica McCreary Hall, and I joined the League in July of 2020. And my initial reason for joining, I wanted to be a part of voter registration training and education. But as I began to find out more about the League, I found out there are so many wonderful opportunities, committees, from not only just the local level, but also the state level. I am also on the membership committee, and some of you I have seen when I have called and welcomed you. And I wanted to bring your attention to our website. As people have mentioned tonight, there is so much information that you have heard tonight, and this is a great way to go and recap where the different committees are. Can everyone see that where it says committee volunteer opportunities? Okay, excellent. So go to the League of Women's Cincinnati Area website. You go under menu and go to committee and volunteer opportunities. And as you can see in the yellow box, it has all the different committees that you've heard about tonight and several that you did not hear about as well. But it gives a nice recap in addition to what the committee is about when the committee meets, in addition to who the chairpersons are on that committee. And you can just click on a particular committee that you are interested in, and it will take you directly to that committee, as you can see what I just did there. So not only is this an opportunity for you to see what the different committees are and what they do and when they meet, but there is also YouTube where you can go to as well, and you can find out information about and listen to this presentation again. So that's another place for you to go as well. And you see all the different committees that are listed here. The other thing that I would like to bring everyone's attention to, when you scroll down to the very beginning of this page where it says menu, go to the YouTube icon. And there you can review this presentation tonight as well. And as Lynn and everyone has alluded to tonight, because one of the questions I get is, just put me somewhere, or where am I most needed? You're needed everywhere. So find out, you can attend any meeting at any time, as many meetings as you would like. If you would like someone to attend with you, we are happy to do that as well, because I know sometimes people don't always like to attend a meeting and not knowing someone. So you're not alone. And we're here for you and to help you and to provide you with any type of information that may be helpful for you. Also, as others have mentioned earlier, you have ad hoc committees, you have standing committees. And this is about your time schedule as well. So you can volunteer as much as you like or as little as you like. For instance, when we do different events like we did with the volunteer gathering during the holiday and also last September, if you like to do invitations, if you like to be involved with just sharing your ideas, that's wonderful. We'd love to have you, even if it's just for a meeting to share your ideas. So, and then if you look at the different committees, they will tell you what the time commitment is with that. So please keep in mind, not only are there standing, but ad hoc committees as well. So this is a great place to go to, and Hope is going to show you in the very beginning of the web page, but there's information there that asks for people to volunteer on different committees. It tells you about different events that are coming out. And a lot of you new members have received an email from me asking for telling you about volunteer opportunities in addition to some other events that are coming up. So welcome and thank you very much for joining us tonight. And we look forward to speaking to any of you and all of you who may have any type of questions or need further direction. Thank you.
Thanks, Veronica. Hope, is there anything else you wanted to cover as it relates to the website?
I did want to show people how to use the calendar, and let me see. There we go. Make sure I'm on. There we go. Yes, that one. That's what I get for having that many tabs and windows. So this is our calendar page. It's on the website, and it allows you to find meetings. And my screen is booping out on me every time I try to move my mouse. So that's, if you're seeing something weird going on, that would be why.
Would you like for me to bring it up? Would you like for me to bring up mine again?
No, thanks. Let me just see if I can get this to behave for 5 seconds. Thank you, though. See, you just had to threaten to be helpful and then it starts behaving. Isn't that always the way it works? So if you are trying to find a link to a meeting on this calendar, I'm going to just show you real quickly how to do it with the membership meeting. You can click on it and this comes up and you'll see that to register in the Zoom link. So you can just highlight and then copy. And this is my preferred way to do it. Although you can also go to Zoom. I prefer to copy and then go to my window and go ahead and paste that link in to go to it. That way you don't have to deal with any bouncing because it is on a Google Chrome calendar. It will try to route you through Google on the way to the Zoom meeting. Whereas if you just copy and paste it in, paste it as plain text, it will be fine. Does anybody have their hand up on that? Hand up for questions on that, because I cannot see that anymore. And then if you're looking a little bit ahead in the future, you can just change month there. So that tells you a little bit about the calendar. And yes, there are directions on how to use that. Go to the main page. And as Veronica mentioned, you can go to the bottom of the page and get contact information. You can get our YouTube, all sorts of accounts. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel on which we have recorded some meetings like this. And Emily, if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and try to speak to the Transportation Committee real quick, since Chris said that she couldn't.
Yeah, no problem.
It is an ad hoc committee, which means it doesn't have regular meetings. They work a lot on public transportation. It is another committee that has a heavy observer element, and really Observer Corps tends to be the unsung heroes of our leagues, because transparency in government means nothing if no one is watching. So if you are interested in public transportation, please contact Chris. She can hook you up with what meetings they're observing and what's going on with public transportation. The other thing that they are typically known for is, like some of our other program and study committees, they work on anything that comes up on the ballot. So they will write ballot issue descriptions. And sorry, it's really brief, Chris, but at least a little plug.
Thank you, Hope. That was perfect. Which brings us, I believe, to the end of our formal presentations. Wanted to just thank everyone again for attending. Reminder to everyone that the contact information, as demonstrated by Veronica, is on that website. So we won't be sending everyone's contact details and committee information following this discussion. We would suggest that you go to our newly updated website. Thank you so much to the team that's been working that. Have just a couple of minutes if anyone has any questions while we have everyone still on the phone.
Yeah, this is Pinky. You know,
Yes,
the
Pinky.
one thing that we obviously are very democratic group, and we comply with Robert's Rules of Order for all our meetings. One big thing we didn't mention, Elizabeth, is that we do have an annual meeting every year, at which this year we are going to elect a lot of officers. As Elizabeth said, she and I are term limited, so we'll have our annual meeting, and it is on May 27th, and it'll be on Zoom. So if you want to see our democracy in work, the legal and border style, you can join us for that. Anything else, Elizabeth? Did I forget? Thank you, Emily.
Thank you. Any other questions on the phone? Couldn't have covered everything. Well, maybe we did. All right. I'll leave it at that. Again, thank you all so much. A reminder that this will be on our YouTube page if you have interest in viewing it again or directing others to it.